great apps for motivating your child to read. And seriously, you know what? Our kids live in a technology world, right? And what motivates them more than technology? You know, it's pretty much their language. That's why we call them technology natives. Not because they always necessarily know about how to use all the different technology, but because technology is such a huge thing in their lives. My name is Joanne Kaminsky, and I'm the Skyping reading tutor, and I have the honor and the privilege to be able to work with amazing kids all over the world and help them with their reading. Many times I'm able to close that reading gap for them, which is 8 to 12 hours of instruction. I work with kids in Australia, Canada, London, and all over the United States from the West Coast to the East Coast. And it's been a privilege to be able to work with these kids from all over the world. And, you know, I know with my own kids that, you know, sometimes they go through these times where they love to read, sometimes they take a break from reading, but what I love is being able to always change it up. And so that's what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to share with you 9 great apps that I absolutely love that allow you to change it up for your child. And the first great app is called the Kindle. Now, some people don't know that you can actually get the Kindle app on your iPad and use your iPad as a Kindle. You can also get the Kindle app on your iPhone as well. And pretty much it just looks like this when you have it downloaded. And you can see then that the book that the child wants to read is right there. So it's pretty cool to be able to have that app. I'm going to share your screen so that I can show you some of these apps in a little bit better way on my computer. Now, I wish that you could also be able to download these onto your computer. Like I have a Mac, but I can't download all of these tools. But it will tell me, can I download it on my iPhone? Can I download it on my iPad? It'll tell me exactly where I can download it. So I'm going to share the screen with you guys. And here we go. So here is the wonderful Kindle app. All I need to do, as you can see here, it's on my iPhone and on my iPad, which is very helpful. I can also get the Kindle app on my computer as well, which is super duper fun for me because I'm able to then motivate children to be able to read their own, the books that they want to be able to read, because I can download them and then I can share my screen with them. So let's just click on iPad apps here, and here you can see that then you can just click on that free button. This one absolutely you don't have to pay for. You do have to pay for the books as you purchase them. Some books you'll find are free, some books are 99 cents, some books are just $3.99, so they're not a huge amount of money that you need to pay. Now, one thing I want to make known is that there is another app that a lot of schools subscribe to this website, and it's called Learning A to Z, and it's actually called Raz Kids. Let me see if I can get it here. I'm going to put Raz Kids in here instead of Learning A to Z. Raz Kids. There it is, Raz Kids. So it's on your iPad, it can be on your iPhone, and many schools actually subscribe to this. So it says it's free, but you have to have a password in order to get in. Now the really cool thing about this is that kids are then able to read tons and tons of books right from their iPad that are already loaded into here. So find out from your school if they have a subscription to this website. All of my students that I personally work with have a subscription to it, and I'll show you what it looks like on here. So I have all of my students listed right on in here, and then I just click on that child, and now there's going to be books right at their level. So it's really cool. So if your school has this, just ask them for the password so that you can continue to have them read books at their level. And you can see these are all of the books that would be at level Q. There's a ton of them. So you just open it up, click next, and the child reads. So definitely find out if your child has that. And again, now these books, they come at all different levels. So they come from the super hardest at level Z, it's about a 6th grade level, to some easier levels. Now I can't get to the easier levels because this program will stop me. The easiest level that it will allow me to read is L here, but I wanted to show you what an easier book then would look like as well. So here's an easier book for your child that they could choose. And they can choose anything within their range. So it's a really great tool. Another one is called Kids Reading Logs. Now, my kids absolutely love logging in their reading and being able to see like how much time they're spending on reading. You can get a version for 99 cents or you can get a version for $4.99. And what happens is the child actually puts in the title of the book that they read. They put how long they have read it for, and they push the start button from the time that they start reading, and then they push the stop button as soon as they're done reading, and it logs it for them. And then they are able to then rate the book and how they're feeling about it. Is it good? Is it easy? Okay, not sure. Is it too hard? So then they can start paying attention to that, and then they can actually use it to see how much time they spent on reading for the entire week. What a great tool to like motivate them to read more. My kids are very competitive, so whenever I can show them like these competitive tools, they get so super excited. Now, a lot of kids are not getting enough nonfiction reading in, especially at home, because we get so caught up in them just choosing what they want to read that they typically are choosing fiction books to read. And most of the books that we have in our homes are fiction books. So a lot of kids aren't getting enough nonfiction time. And guess what? As they get to 4th grade and beyond, most of the reading that they're doing is now turning into the nonfiction reading. The more nonfiction reading kids can get, the better, because this is going to increase their reading levels in nonfiction. It's going to give them new vocabulary words. That's going to increase their knowledge about certain topics. So this is such a great tool because it is right there at the kids' interest level of things that are happening in the world. So they get to choose what they want to read about. So that's huge because kids, when they get choices on what it is that they want to read, they are that much more successful. They can also discover exciting stories. They can explore the world. So there's different stories from all over the world. How cool is that? And they can learn about other kids around the world too. So it's a really great tool. Now this one you do have to pay for a subscription for. And you can see here it says that if you get like a year subscription, I think it's only $20. But if you want to pay like month by month, you can get $1.99. Or I think if you do the 6 months, you can get it for $9.99. So it's definitely something to take a look at. You know, you can always start off too with a 99-cent subscription and see if your kids like it. And honestly, it's a great way for them to just be more aware of things that are happening around the world. Another one is called Reading Rainbow. Now, this is such a cool tool, you guys. Again, this is a subscription one, but I have to say, if you've got a younger reader, this is fantastic because it has the book on there. It has tons of books for you to choose from. Then it has, just like on the show Reading Rainbow, it has videos of some of the things that, you know, connect to the real world. So we have, you know, connections that are being made, not with the book, but with the real world too. And I have to tell you that there's 3 types of things that kids make connections to. They make connections with themselves, they can make connections with another book, or they can make connections with the world. And I have to say, sometimes connections with the world are some of the hardest connections for kids to make, and Reading Rainbow does such a great job of making those connections for kids with specific books. LeVar here takes the kids on video field trips that deal with the book, and there's new books that are added every single week, and then the kids can decide if they want the book to be read to them or if they want to read it by themselves. Seriously, this is an outstanding tool This one costs, I think, $29.99 for a full year, but it is well worth the price for sure. The next one, now some kids, they struggle with reading too slow, and I'm going to put in here Tic Tac Hippie Kids Read. And what's really cool about this app is that there are kids that, it's really hard to be like, okay, so you want to teach your kids to read faster, but you don't really know what to do, right? And this kind of makes it fun. So the kids get to do some speed reading activities, and they have to beat Pippi to win different prizes. So very, very cool. And so you can read, they have like little jokes that the kids can read, and they have other things like that. So this one says, how do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it. So not only is it fun for the kids to increase their fluency and read quicker, but it does it in a really fun way. Now this one does cost $29.99 to download, but again, this is such a great tool if your child is struggling with being able to read quickly. Some other things that you can do if your child is struggling with reading quickly is that you can have your child read plays. I love going to gigglepoetry.com, as some of you already know about Giggle Poetry, and there's plays that the kids can read on there. So it's a lot of fun. Now there's another resource on here I'm trying to get to. It's called Epic, and I'm going to put Epic Books on here, see if that gets me a better. Oops, it would help if I spelled that correctly. So I'm going to try that again. Epic Books for Kids. Here it is, right here. And this has thousands of books at your child's level again. Tons and tons and tons of books. And these are regular books that you would purchase on the Kindle. And they are right there available for your child to read right there without you having to pay for every single book. Now this one does have a monthly of $9.99, or you can purchase it for the year for $79.99. The kids, as they read books, they earn badges, and kids love getting badges. It's amazing some of the virtual things that they can win, how much they absolutely are motivated by that. So they don't always have to have something that you're going to give them. I know a lot of times parents will say, oh, if you read for 30 minutes, then I'm going to let you watch TV for 30 minutes, or if you read for 30 minutes, I'll take you to the store and I'll buy you something that you want. So this is a great way to motivate kids without really having to give them anything. They just receive these little rewards, which is fun. They can pick their own avatar, their own little frame, so that it makes their reading fun and rewarding for them. So just a really, really cool tool, and some great books that are on here. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Olivia. So you get to choose whatever level your child is reading at and set them up with these books for them to be able to read. So very cool tool. Another one I'm going to show you is the world's worst pet vocabulary, and this is so much fun. The world's worst pet vocabulary. Click. So if your child is really struggling with vocabulary, this has different levels of vocabulary from easiest to hardest. And in the beginning, before they start playing the game, they're able to take a look at all of the words and see if they know the meanings of them. If they don't know the meanings of them, they're able to click on them, and then they're able to see the meaning of the word. Then they have to use them in situations. So it will say, like, what might you use the word spectacular to describe? And then you can put as many answers that are on here that would be correct. And then you cut the cord. You just swipe it with your finger, and it comes on down, and it lets you know how many of them you had correct. So again, it's just something that is fun to increase your child's vocabulary if your child is struggling in that area. And honestly, kids can always learn new words. So if that's something that your child is or isn't struggling with, they may have a lot of fun with it. Look at how cool this is too. I mean, they even have like writing prompts so that the kids can write about the words. Now, these kids, you don't get to choose the words that they're doing. You just get to choose the level. But they're constantly going to be introduced to new words that maybe they wouldn't have been introduced to otherwise. So a great tool, and this one is absolutely free, and there are no hidden costs within it. So definitely download this one and have your child play it so that they can increase their vocabulary. And I've saved the very, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this app on my iPad so you can kind of see how cool it is. And then I am going to show you my very favorite app. So I'm going to turn on my iPad here and show you the world's favorite pet app that I downloaded. So let's go to Worlds. There we go. Okay, so here is the app on my iPad. It says I need to select all the words or phrases that best answer the question. And so here it says what places are usually open to the public: a museum, a playground, a business office, a home, or a street. So then I just take this word, a museum, and I slide it on over right into there. I can just slide over a playground. I can slide over a street. And now, watch this, because I'm going to be able to cut the cord. And the little guy jumps up. So it's a lot of fun. I love it. Okay, now the next one is called Storybots. And Storybots, oh my gosh, if you are familiar with Jib Jab, then you'll already know about kind of what this does. But Storybots actually takes your child into the book. So there's different books that they can choose, and since it is a wonderful time of the year of March, and we have St. Patrick's Day coming up, we are going to take a look at a St. Patrick's Day book. Now, I've added myself in here just for a little bit of fun, but I also have other kids in here as well. I have my daughter Michaela. She could be the main character, or I can have Brianna be the main character, or I can have Rebecca be the main character. So I have lots of kids that are already in here. So just to make this fun, I'm just going to put myself in here as the main character of this book. And I'm going to read the book, and you're going to get to see what happens. Now, as I read The Great Leprechaun, it says, this is starring Joanne. Woo! I get to be the star of the show. And I'm going to go to the next page, and I'm going to click right on the bottom here to go to the next page. And here it is. St. Patrick's Day's coming, said Joanne. What fun! I'm wearing my green because it's nearly begun. Then something up high, something bright caught her eye. A colorful rainbow appeared in the sky. I must find the end, she exclaimed, I've been told. There's a leprechaun there with a big pot of gold. So she followed the rainbow for much of the day, but it somehow just seemed to get farther away. Till someone said, hey, on the stump of a tree. I'm Paddy O'Grady, he said with a smile. If you catch me, you'll get all my gold, the whole pile. And it goes on and on and on. You can see how much fun that app is with your child. Now, that one costs $4.99 a month, but you don't just get that app. You also get like a whole bunch of apps. And I saved them all in one spot because I did get the subscription for this one. And let me just grab where I put them, because I put them on a wonderful little spot so that most of them are all together. And of course, because I have so many apps, I won't be able to find it now that I want to. Here it is. So I have a little spot on here where I have uh, put a whole bunch of them together. And then all of the apps that I get with the subscription come on up. So it's not just the one app I get. I also get ABC videos. I also get math games. I also get Starring You videos, and my kids have absolutely loved the Starring You videos. Now this is totally like not educational, it's just fun. And sometimes, you know what, we just need to make it fun for our kids. That's what it's all about. And so there's little videos that we can put our kids into, and my kids absolutely love this. So I'm going to show you one.
In the wilderness, away from the city air, bopping along with the forest song. It's the big brown boogie and bear. Well, the deer, they can't stop laughing, and the birds all stop and stare. In the meadow green, it's quite a scene. He's the big brown boogie and bear.
All right, so there's other things that you get as well with that subscription. It's not just the books, but the books is just amazing. I've been using those books with a child who has been struggling with reading, and I'd have to say his interest level in reading these books has been astounding. This is a kid who is like, doesn't want to pick up a book, he doesn't want to read, he finds it difficult. And the books aren't easy for him to read. We have to work through it for him to figure out some of these words. But because he is the star of those books, he is totally sold on reading them. And I think that's really the key when it comes to working with our kids and trying to help them with reading. You know, switching it up, changing it up. Sometimes the same old thing can get boring. But if we make it fun by showing them and introducing them to some of these other apps, you know what? We have more of a chance of increasing the amount of time that they're going to spend reading. So I would love to hear what some of your favorite apps are, and if any of these apps were cool, you downloaded them, or any of that, that would be fantastic. If you have any questions, feel free to type that into the question box, and I'd be happy to answer your questions regarding reading. I specifically chose each of those apps because they fit into the 5 areas of reading instruction that I focus on. One of those is phonics, and being able to sound out words and be able to read them. Another one is comprehension. I like the Kindle. I like the Learning A to Z. Really focuses on the comprehension piece of that. I focus on fluency. Fluency is a huge part of reading because if you're focusing on fluency, it's not just about the speed reading portion. So I really don't want people to think that that's what fluency is, because a lot of schools, they do push, you know, how quick a child reads. Fluency also takes into account your voice going up and down. It takes into account it changing up. Sometimes your voice goes up on a word, sometimes it goes down on a word. Sometimes we read faster, sometimes we read slower, depending on what our purpose is for reading. So being able to read at the appropriate rate is really an important thing. And another thing is the vocabulary piece of it. You know, being able to bring in that vocabulary with our wonderful World's Worst Pet vocabulary game is fantastic. In order for kids, a lot of people don't know this, but it's not sometimes just about being able to read the words correctly. It's also being able to understand the meanings of those words. If kids aren't understanding the meanings of those words, they're not going to be able to understand what they're reading. As much as kids are able to sometimes figure out the meaning from what they're reading, they can't figure out all of the words from what they're reading. We call that accidental learning, when they just pick up a word automatically and just kind of learn it. And sometimes they need specific instruction on how to learn those words. So I hope that you got a lot of benefit out of each of these new apps. And if you ever have any questions, just let me know and I'd be happy to answer them. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and until next time.